What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff Lund, and this is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. Talking with John Peterka from Sagebrush Dry Goods out of Kake, Alaska. Thanks, John, for being on here and taking some time out of your Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So before we get talking about Sagebrush, everyone asks me how I got to Kawak. I grew up in Kawak, and my family moved there when I was 5. So how did you end up in Kake?
Well, actually, Sagebrush brought me to Kake. I was living in Montana and working in the outdoor gear industry there, and had, through some mutual acquaintances, had found out about this business opportunity in Kake. And I knew about the product, and I'd known it had connections to Montana in the past. So there was kind of a lot of people with the bags around. And anyway, I was really interested in getting involved in the outdoor gear. So I decided to come out. I had a partner at the time, and she and I came out to Kake and flew into Juneau and took the ferry over and spent a week in Kake and explored the business. And kind of one of the conditions of taking over the business with Robbie and Elaine, the people who founded the company, was that you'd have to spend 6 months to a year kind of as an apprentice and live in Kake. So that's really what brought me. After touring the business and being in Kake and just seeing Southeast, they took me out on their boat, and we got Dungeness crab and we caught halibut and just the whole treatment. Went and got clams, and I was kind of drawn to the idea of being in Southeast anyway, so it seemed like an adventure. My business partner was not interested in moving to Kake, and so I decided to come by myself.
Well, had you been to Southeast before, or is this your first trip?
That was my first trip. Yeah, I spent 10 days in Southeast and I went back, and a month and a half later I had moved into the village.
Nice. And what year was this?
This was 2017.
Nice. So obviously you like it so far. What some of the best parts about Kake?
Well, Kake's an interesting spot. I mean, we're connected to, some of the best fishing and hunting, around. We're kind of in a little, banana belt here. We get a lot less rain than a lot of the other communities, certainly a lot less than in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So, we get a lot of plenty of sunny days, and it's just kind of a neat little spot. It's kind of off the radar.
There are people who like to visit places like Kake or Peterka or Southeast in general, but they feel that they could never live here. They can only be here like during the brochure, but when you live the whole 360, this time of year when it's dark and cloudy, cold, how have you adjusted to the winters here and living the snowstorm here?
Oof, I don't know if I have. The winters can get long. I mean, this is my third winter, coming into my third winter here. I stay busy in the shop, and there's stuff to do if we get, we don't get a ton of snow that sticks around here. But you go get clams, you can get, go out and get crabs, and there's still stuff to do. You just have a shorter, smaller window to do it. Mm-hmm. But the darkness is I haven't figured the darkness out yet. I still, the winters get long when you're ready for bed at 3:00 all the time,
Yeah, right, sure. What about the community? I know that growing up in Kawak, we kind of centered around basketball. So the whole community would show up to the basketball games, and as a kid, it was awesome to see that sort of support. But that small community kind of isolated. Like, what have you noticed about how the community gets through the winter together?
Well, basketball is a big part of it. I guess I left that out, but I separated my shoulder this summer, so I'm still not quite back playing ball again. But um, honestly, my first winter here, if it hadn't been for ending up getting involved in pickup basketball here, I probably would have lost it. Because I was trying to learn the business and new to the town and still kind of a stranger. And basketball, I played in my first gold medal that winter. Um, or in March, I played in the gold medal basketball tournament up in Juneau, which is a big deal. And that pretty much solidified my spot in the. I had all kinds of elders that I didn't know saying hi to me and saying they listened to me on the radio. And that was kind of the turning point, I think, really, for becoming a member of the community.
Yeah. It's funny that people talk about some places it's very tough to crack that old guard, and you're always an outsider, even if you've lived there for a long time. Other communities, as soon as you show that you bring some sort of value to the community, they accept you with open arms. Like you don't feel that sort of, you haven't been here 15 years, so or you weren't born here, so you're not a local.
Right.
It's cool.
Definitely is. And I mean, I'm not employing a ton of people, but I've got a few employees, and, every little bit helps. There's not a ton of jobs here in Kake either. So, and we're trying to grow it. So,
yeah. So to the business, I bought, or I didn't buy, I got my first Sagebrush product. A buddy of mine gave me the day pack. And I thought, dude, what are you doing? This thing is legit. This thing is way too nice to be giving away. It was in great shape. And I love it. It's waterproof, durable. I mean, it's everything that you could want in an outdoor pack. So, what type of experience did you have coming into it? Have you worked for, who you work for, and then keeping that sort of quality, and how do you make that happen in Kake? And give me some of the business aspect of it.
Yeah, well, my background was, I had spent a short time. I was really, I was in sales and marketing for a while, and then I moved out to Bozeman, Montana, and just started working a job, entry-level job doing production in a super small business called Buck Products, manufacturing backpacks and duffel bags and totes and stuff like that, with just sewed goods. And from there, we started a little cut and sew operation and ended up taking over the guy's production, kind of. And just through the whole grapevine, Bozeman's a really, there's a lot of outdoor gear manufacturing going on out in that area. And just through the grapevine, through some people we were working with, found out about an opportunity, with this Sagebrush deal. And, I think I talked on that a little bit earlier, but we, I was really intrigued. I wanted to own my own business. I was tired of working for other people. And I had moved to Montana. I grew up in North Dakota. And, that's kind of the next spot, the last frontier or whatever. And the whole Alaska thing was super intriguing, and it just seemed like a cool way to experience Alaska in a different way, So it mixed the business and the adventure together. So it was kind of a cool thing. And meeting Robbie and Elaine, they were just these really cool, hardcore Alaskans, and they have this, salt of the earth mentality to them, and it just really drew me in.
Mm-hmm. What are they doing now?
They're retired, but actually they've been helping me immensely. They live here in Kake still. They take their summers off. They're on their boat for about 3-4 months all summer and exploring all over. And they do a bunch of fly fishing and
Nice.
berry gathering. And yeah, they're just kind of enjoying themselves. There's nowhere else they'd rather be. So yeah, but they come in and help me from time to time, just because, especially these long winters, they'll come in and get involved. And they've been a big aid in me taking this business over, because there's a lot to it. I mean, we do radio frequency and hot air welding for all the construction of all the seams and everything on the bags. So it wasn't something I really had a lot of any experience with before I came here. So it was kind of, like learning for everything from scratch. I mean, there's a lot of sewing we do, but what makes the product special is the radio frequency and hot air welding. So that was a big on-taking, and they were there to mentor me through the whole process.
What exactly does that do for the bag, or what's the technology behind it to make it more waterproof or more durable, or what exactly is going on there?
Well, instead of like a lot of products can be sewed, and then they do a seam tape over the sewing, like a lot of your raincoat type, a lot of raincoats and things like that. Where here we're using radio frequency to basically reorganize the molecular structure of the polyurethane and the coating of the fabric and bond it together, basically forming a new fabric that's welded together. So there's absolutely no chance of any water penetrating those seams. And then we use dive suit zippers that are submersible, up to 7 psi. So just super waterproof gear, and really great materials that we put into them.
And part of your testing process before you sell them, don't you inflate and submerge? Do I see a video on the Facebook page that you do that as part of your quality testing?
Yep. So every bag gets, we fill them out with 2.5 pounds of air, and then just dunk them in a submersion tank and inspect all the seams and we know where a lot of the problem areas can be. So just give attention to the spots that need attention and make sure the zippers all pass. And then, if that doesn't happen, they don't leave the shop. So just every bag is, guaranteed 100% submersible.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of technology that goes into it, but because you're in Kake, Alaska, it's not exactly a nice little quick UPS or FedEx shipment to where you're going to do this and then shipping out there. So what are some of the complications with making producing the bag there and then shipping them from there? What are some of the things that you've encountered and have to battle?
Well, I mean, it's just it's funny, we were talking about this, but you get desensitized. I didn't grow up around here, so it's been 3 years, but you really get desensitized to a lot of the things. I mean, but for example, I had an electric motor on my die cutting machine go out, and couldn't fix it here. Talked to the only guy we thought in the village that had a clue on electric motors, and he didn't want to mess with it, so have to send it in. Well, first thing you have to do is build a box or a crate to send your motor. It's not like, there's just all these extra little steps. Then organize with Alaska Seaplanes to have it shipped out, and have the motor repair guy pick it up over in Juneau, and just all these extra funny little things. Or just with travel, how many, you'll try. The ferry is such a much less option, but having a flight scheduled in the wintertime, but having a ferry as a backup plan because you might not fly for 3 or 4 days, or, it's just, there's so many weird little idiosyncrasies with the travel, or ordering things and them telling you that, well, we don't ship to Alaska all the time, and it's never ending little stuff, but that's what makes it interesting too.
Yeah. What are some of your goals and plans for, as far as, are you happy where it is now? Do you want to limit expansion? Do you want to, where are you going from here?
Well, trying to expand the business a little. I mean, there's a lot more demand than I can really keep up with right now. So we'd like to at least, fill the customers that we have, that are trying to get some of these orders. But, yeah, it's just, I've got now a couple employees, and, one new one, and he's getting trained in learning the sewing side of things, so it's, yeah, trying to grow it up a little bit. And I'm not sure that, it'll forever be in Kake with that being said, but definitely like to keep it in Southeast. So we'll see what happens.
What's one of the most popular products, or the most popular product? I was just looking at your page and I saw this waterproof gun case, which is just brilliant. I was out duck hunting this last weekend, and I had my case, soft case and not waterproof, and it, of course, got water on it. Like, oh man, that is brilliant. So, what's one of the most popular products you got?
Yeah, that would be one of them for sure. I just did the Juneau Public Market this past weekend, which is a big show for us, holiday market. And we sold out of our gun bags. They were, that's always a show favorite. The day packs are always really popular, but the gun bag is really unique. It's got that, the removable padded foam liner. We use a closed cell foam in there so it doesn't take on and absorb any moisture. And then that zipper, like I said, a submersible zipper, so that'll float any gun you put in there. So it's just a really, for a Southeast and any kind of skiff hunting or duck hunting, or it's pretty sweet to have.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Yeah, I think things real nice. What are some of the other products that you have? And then do you have anything new on the horizon? Any plans for anything else?
Yeah, like I was saying, our dry day pack is a real popular bag. That we've got basically 3 different sizes: a large, a medium, and then our little day tripper. All those, the large and the medium have a full suspension system on those, and it's all removable, so you can that's like what you would have. But you can also remove that suspension if you want to, and you'd be washed or just keep it dry and clean from whatever else you're doing. So that's kind of a good option. Our hip pack is really a cool hip pack. Just a great, it can be worn in the front or the back. But for fly fishing, it's just, I think it's a sweet, I carry my bear spray in there and then some lures and rain jacket and some snacks. And it's just a good size because you're not having to, if I have a full size pack, I end up filling the thing all the way up, and it's just, never fails. So if I limit myself to a little small hip pack, I can pretty much, that's all I need. The essentials.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then as far as new stuff, we just this weekend put out some. It's not a new product, I guess, but it's new. Well, it's new to me. I'm putting it out, but a kayak bag system where we have a nose bag, a midship bag, and then 3 other tote-sized bags for like kayak camping or any kind of boat canoeing. Just tote bags, so which are kind of cool. They're the nose bag is tapered and the midship bag are tapered to fit into the nose and midship of the kayak, and you can access them while they're still in the boat versus having a roll top where you have to pull it out and put it back in. You can just unzip it and load it and zip it closed. slide it forward. And they're also going to add buoyancy to your boat because you are, trapping that air in those bags. So it's kind of a double bonus there.
Nice. Which one do you use the most? I'm assuming you use some of your own products. So which one is the one that you get the
I
most out of?
probably use my Day Tripper, my small size backpack, the most. It's just got a basic, simple yoke backpack style, not a full suspension setup or waist belt or anything. But it's just a nice size. It's like about 28 liters, and it's just it's a great grab. Throw in the skiff. It doesn't get it doesn't have that full suspension to get sopping wet. And you can click that on and off if you want, but it's just a quick, handy little bag and a water bottle pocket on the front. You just slide it in, and some rod straps on the front as well. Just a basic little bag. Nice one.
So you've been in Kake for a couple of years now. How much have you become Alaskan? Have you bought? Do you own a skiff, or have you already upgraded from a skiff to a bigger boat? How much are you investing in your fun side of the experience there?
Just the skiff as of now. I'm still kind of, I'm working my way up. I'm still getting braver and braver. I'm a flatlander from North Dakota originally, and this is some serious stuff out here. But I'm a fair weather boatman. I like to go out and get crab and do some fishing, and but yeah, it's a different deal. I spend a lot of time in the sea kayak as well, so and do a lot of overnight camping and stuff with that. So yeah, it's just it's a different deal. We got bears around here like crazy, and that first summer I was here, it was just getting adjusted to these bears. All the kids are running around and treating them like dogs, and I'm scared. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, it's a different type of bear too. I lived in California for a couple of years, and you go hike around in Yosemite, and there were the bears that were used to people inside the parks. They'd get the garbage during the evening, and they were they had tags in their ears, and so they were used to being around people. But the bears used to being
tear apart your car.
So wild. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I lived in California as well, and that was the same. I was paranoid,
Yeah.
So I've become adjusted to pitching my tent and having bears walk around or whatever, and it's fine. But it takes a little while.
Yeah, you're scared of what you don't know. And I went to college in Arizona, and I was terrified of scorpions and snakes because you can't see them. I'm used to bears, which you can hear. You can do stuff, but you're not going to find a bear in your boots or your backpack.
That's true. That's that.
As far as the boat goes, I just upgraded from a skiff because I kind of bought into the whole, if you have friends that have the bigger boat, then you just let them deal with all the costs and the breaking down and the gas and everything else. You pitch them some money. But now that I have a bigger boat, it's got a 21 foot and it's got a soft top on it. Now I'm like, man, I can go pretty much anywhere I want. It's just a matter of how brave I am. This is pretty sweet.
Right. Yeah, I'm that's my next move. But yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, if I'd like to be able to be a little more mobile with mine.
Yeah. You don't move here. You don't live here. Just you can kind of hang out inside. So it's it's cool. You get out and you do a bunch of stuff, but there's always that being able to do things on your own schedule and not have to wait for someone to invite you or try to get yourself invited to really just kind of grab Alaska by the horns as much as you can, because there's no way you can conquer it, but you can at least have some fun here. So I'm pretty excited about the new boat.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
How many of your Montana friends have wanted to come up or visited or thought you were crazy?
Well, all of them thought I was crazy. I've only actually had two of my Montana friends visit, but everybody wants to visit, but the logistics of it's intimidating to people that are they're trying to take a week off of work or whatever, and then you'd have to have almost 2 travel days each way, and it gets to be tricky. Trying to catch a plane or a ferry, and it gets expensive too. So I don't know, more are coming this summer, and we'll have a better deal. And my first summer, I didn't have a boat, so it was less interesting to come. So it's just it's I'm becoming more of a tourist attraction, I guess.
Yeah. I would go back every summer to my mom's house. She still lives in the Rock, and friends would come up, and you get to catch them, and then you got to take a ferry over. You have to fly over. Now that I live in Peterka, it just takes out that extra little logistical issue. You can fly right to Ketchikan, then you're there. You don't have to worry about the boat or what plane do I have to catch. There's always people who try to get to Prince of Wales and they don't have any sort of plan. They want to go without a plan. That's the whole idea. So they're on the boat going to Hollis, and they're like, oh, we'll just get a hotel in Hollis. Like, there's no hotels in Hollis, or we'll just get a taxi. There's no taxi there, so you really have to do a lot more research than just kind of show up and pretend that it's some little town outside of an urban setting down south. It's there's a lot more to it, and if you're too naive, then you could be really dependent upon the niceness of the locals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had kayakers sleeping on the floor of my shop before that were passing through and got stuck in some bad weather, and construction was going on in town, so the lodge was booked up, and so yeah, I mean, it's not you can't just Google it and it's there around here. I mean, we have one grocery store and that's it, and
yeah.
It's pretty slim pickings. 420 people, so
yeah. Do you feel that there's kind of a realness and a quality of life? Like, you can definitely serve a purpose in some of these smaller towns because you're not washed away with just so many people. But at the same time, you can feel pretty alone and isolated. So how do you feel the quality of life of rural Alaska compares to that maybe of somewhere on the road system down south?
I don't know. I was in Denver in April, and I just had like this experience where I was just overwhelmed, and just there's like this push or buzz thing going on where everybody's in such a hurry, and I don't know, just the hustle and bustle. To me, it's just people aren't so caught up in all the whatever it is that's going on, just the whole, it's hard to put words on it, but there's just this whole thing that's different about the nature of people here and just more genuine to me. I don't know. It's hard to describe, really.
Yeah, I don't think it's something you can really articulate, even if you do live here and can see the difference. It's just different.
You can feel the difference, I guess, is the thing. There's just a different thing going on.
Yeah, when you don't have that sense of urgency. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about, he used the example of everybody in some of those big cities like LA is just a whole bunch of, I don't know if he said mice or rats, just, fighting each other for the last little scrap of cheese. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of a good example. And, who knows what cheese is, but, here the pace of life is slower, which allows you to kind of take stock and invest time into things that are a little more important and not get caught up in nonsense.
Right. So. Yeah, it's a big difference, and it's funny because unless you almost don't realize, because I grew up down south. I grew up in rural community and farming community, but you don't realize what's going on until you leave and come back, and it's an interesting perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, we're about a half hour here. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything about rural life in Alaska, or just want to go to a sagebrush pitch, or what do you got, man?
Yeah, no, I just thought I would share a moment, just since we're on this topic, but of another funny travel experience. Yesterday when I was flying back from Juneau, we took off, and in a small plane. And my pilot, we hit some turbulence, and my pilot let out a little yelp and said, "Hey, we gotta turn around. I think I just threw my back out." So he had to turn around. We were 10 minutes into the flight. Turns around, returns back, and swaps out the pilot. I get a new pilot, and then we take off again.
Yeah.
But just one of those funny little Alaska things that you can't. You can't make up these little adventures a person gets to experience.
No. The first time I was in Kake, I was in 8th grade. I was the manager for the basketball team, and we went up there, and it had snowed and then froze and then warmed up. So all the snow had been packed down, and then it was raining on top of that. So we were going from, I think, the gym or the store up to the school, and we had their school band. We were borrowing their school band, and as we were going up the hill, the van just kind of lost its traction and then just kind of died. And so we started sliding/rolling back down the hill. And Coach just kind of looked around frantically, trying to find like a little driveway that he can steer the van into. And we just went into the ditch. He missed, went in the ditch. It was dark and it was wet and slick. And so we totaled the Kake high school van when we were up there visiting when I was in 8th grade. So yeah, that's. But the school didn't lawsuits or anything crazy. It was just like you said, that sort of thing just kind of happens up here.
Yeah.
What about where can people find you in the business and the Instagram, social media? Give the pitch. You're going to be in Sitka this weekend for a show.
Yeah, I'll be in Sitka this weekend for their artisans market, and having all of our waterproof gear there. And yeah, you can find us on internet, sagebrushdry.com. Then social media, it's Sagebrush Dry on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, we'll be at the Alaska Sportsman Show in April and up in Anchorage. We always do that one. It's a good show for us. And yeah, I mean that's about my spiel on it.
Great. Well, thanks again for being on here, man. Really appreciate the time, and enjoy Kake. And I'll continue to enjoy the gear that I got from you guys.
Sounds good. Well, appreciate the interview.
All right, take care, man.
Yep, have a good one.